Ever feel like swapping your morning coffee for like a double shot of mom brain before the day's even begun?
Oh, tell me about it.
Like you're already running on fumes.
Totally.
And you mentioned feeling a bit overwhelmed lately, so we found this really insightful article, and it's all about parenting burnout.
Yeah,
And it's, more than just being tired. It's like this real phenomenon,
it is.
which
Yeah.
honestly kind of makes you feel better and worse at the same time.
Right, because it's like, oh, it's not just me,
Yeah,
but it's like, oh, this is a real thing.
it's a real thing
It's a real thing that
that we have to deal with.
Oh,
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit.
okay.
What are the signs of this? Because the article listed a few, and I gotta be honest, some of them felt a little too familiar.
Yeah, I was reading it like, wait a minute, am I in this article?
Right, like that exhaustion that
Oh.
just lingers even after, like, the kids are in bed.
Yes, because it's not just physical fatigue.
Right.
It's like this deep depletion of mental and emotional reserves,
Yeah.
And the article talks about irritability, difficulty focusing, even emotional detachment.
Yeah.
It's like you're going through the motions but not truly connecting.
Yes. And
So-
then the guilt comes in.
Oh, the guilt.
Right, like, I should be enjoying this more. Like, what's wrong with me?
Yes.
But I really appreciate how this article kind of makes this key point that feeling burnt out doesn't make you a bad parent, it just makes you human.
Yes.
Dealing with, let's be honest, incredibly high demands.
Incredibly high demands.
So how do we combat this?
Right. So instead of aiming for this like elusive, perfect parent ideal, which none of us can achieve,
Right.
the article really encourages a more realistic approach.
Okay.
Small, sustainable changes can make a huge difference.
I love that because who has time for like a complete life overhaul when you can barely find like a matching pair of socks in the morning?
Right. Exactly.
One thing that they highlighted that I thought was really interesting was the power of what they call micro breaks.
Micro breaks.
And no, I'm not talking about like a week-long vacation.
Right.
So
Wouldn't that be great?
that would be amazing.
Sign me up.
Right. But I'm talking tiny moments throughout the day just to breathe.
Yes.
They even have this hilarious anecdote about a mom who calls them bathroom retreat.
Bathroom retreats, love it.
She locks the door, hides from the kids for 5 minutes, and just breathes.
Yes.
Like, that is it.
It's genius, actually, because when we're stressed,
Yeah.
our sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive, right?
Okay.
Even just 60 seconds of focused breathing can trigger what's called the parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
Lowers our heart rate, lowers our stress hormones.
Oh, wow.
That bathroom retreat, like a mini vacation for your
I'm
brain.
adding that to my to-do list.
Do it.
Bathroom retreat in big letters.
Yes, prioritize it.
Okay. Speaking of essential to-dos,
Yes.
the article did not shy away from the sleep struggle,
The sleep struggle is real.
which, let's be honest, is real for most parents, I would say. Almost all parents.
It's real.
Especially when they're little.
When it's tough.
It's tough. So what can we do?
Right. Well, this is where understanding the science, I think, is so crucial.
Okay.
Because consistent sleep deprivation doesn't just make us grumpy. It impacts our prefrontal cortex,
Okay.
the part of our brain responsible for decision-making, emotional regulation.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Not good.
And yes, patience.
Oh, so we basically become toddlers.
Essentially.
That's what it is.
Essentially, we do.
Oh, this is bad.
But, the article highlighted this great strategy called sleep swaps, where partners alternate nights
Okay.
of getting a longer stretch of sleep.
Okay, so not about getting like 8 perfect hours every night,
Right.
but it's about like strategic rest to
Yeah.
help each parent recharge.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of recharging,
Yeah.
what else helps besides a good night's sleep?
Oh, man.
A little me time.
A little me time?
Right.
Absolutely.
The essential.
And I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
It's hard to find 15 minutes.
I'll forget 15 minutes. Some days I'll take 15 seconds.
Yeah,
Just like,
yeah.
go away.
But the article makes a really good point that it's about quality over quantity, right?
So,
And most importantly, consistency.
okay.
Those small, regular doses of me time.
Yeah.
More sustainable and ultimately more effective than that. Like once a month,
Right.
spa day,
That you never get to.
that you never get to, right?
Or, the kids are like knocking on the door the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like that's not relaxing.
Right. It's like that saying,
Yeah.
the straw that broke the camel's back wasn't the last one, it was all the ones before it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's the accumulation
It's a buildup.
of little things.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually shared this one anecdote I thought was funny.
Okay.
This mom who swears by watching like The Office
Yeah.
for 15 minutes every night.
Okay.
after her kids go to bed.
I love it.
Just to unwind,
I can see that.
de-stress,
It's brilliant.
just reconnect with herself.
Yeah.
So
It's like your little escape.
her little escape.
And sometimes, like, that's all you need.
Totally.
You know, just 15 minutes where you're not,
Yeah.
someone's not asking you for something.
Or touching you.
Or touching you, yes.
Right.
Like personal space.
Please.
Like,
Just a little boundary.
yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of boundaries and, all of this,
Yeah.
the article also talked about the power of accepting help, which I thought was really important
Yes.
because, I think especially, I don't know, maybe it's just me,
Yeah.
but like we put so much pressure on ourselves as parents to like do it all.
All of it.
And the reality is like, it is a team sport.
It is. And asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength.
Yes, 1,000%.
And I'm like so glad they put that in there.
Yes.
Because I think it's so important
It is.
to remember that we don't have to do it all alone, right?
I don't.
Like they told that story
Yes.
about that dad, remember,
Yeah.
who was like at his wit's end and finally caved
Yes.
and asked his parents to watch the baby for a couple hours each week.
He was like, it changed my life.
Right.
Game changer.
It made him a better parent because he was able to come back
Yes.
refreshed, recharged, and actually present with his kids. So
I loved that story
it's huge.
because it's that thing, like, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Like, you have to take care of yourself so
Yeah.
that you can take care of your tiny humans.
Self-care is not selfish.
It's not.
It's essential.
It's the opposite of selfish.
Yes, when we prioritize our well-being,
Yes.
everyone benefits.
Everyone wins.
Everyone.
Okay, you ready for another gem?
Hit me.
It's from the article.
Yes.
Permission to lower your expectations.
Yes, please.
And I don't just mean like slightly lower them.
Right.
I'm talking embrace the chaos, cereal for dinner, like just lower them.
I love that they went there.
They went there.
Because it's so easy, especially, in the age of social media,
Oh my gosh, yes.
to get caught up in this pressure.
Yes.
To like be perfect.
The perfect parent.
The perfect parent, right. With the Pinterest-worthy meals
Mhm.
and the spotless house.
Yes.
And like the kids that are like little angels all the time.
Right, who are dressed in like,
Matching outfit.
matching adorable outfits all the time.
Right.
Like, it's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real.
And I love that they just like gave permission to say,
Yes.
like, you know what?
It's okay.
Sometimes good enough is good enough.
Good enough is good enough.
They even shared that story about the mom who,
Oh my God.
at her wit's end, resorted to rocking her cat
I know.
instead of her crying baby.
The cat was probably like, this is new.
What is happening?
What is this?
But, it just goes to show that, like sleep deprivation,
does things to you.
it makes us do crazy things.
It makes you a little delirious.
A little.
Yeah.
But you know what? It just highlights something really important.
With that.
We've all been there.
We have.
Like it's like this secret club
Yeah.
of like exhausted parents.
Exhausted parents, yes.
United by our,
Sleep-deprived mishaps.
sleep-deprived mishaps, exactly.
And our shared experiences of just feeling like,
Overwhelmed.
yes.
Totally
You're
overwhelmed.
like, what is this?
And sometimes the best thing we can do is just laugh about it,
Laugh about it.
Because
Yes.
humor
Humor is key.
is like our superpower.
It is. It gets you through.
It's a coping mechanism.
So true.
It helps us find that lightness in the midst of all the chaos.
The chaos that is parenting.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it just reminds us that we're not alone.
We're not alone.
We're not alone.
I love that.
They're in the trenches together.
We are. It really is.
It's so important.
One thing that I was thinking about with this article, and it really kind of stood out to me,
Yeah.
is that it focused a lot on like the individual coping strategies.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, are super important. Like, we need those things.
Absolutely.
But it didn't really address like,
the external pressures
yes,
that can also contribute to burnout.
like a lot of it's like, oh, here are the things you can do.
Right. Like you just got to like fix yourself.
But
And it's
it's
like,
not always that simple.
that's not always that simple because we're not just like these isolated beings.
Yeah.
Like we exist in this world with,
Context. We have context.
yes, context, other humans,
Other humans.
jobs.
Exactly. All of it.
Okay, so like how much do those external pressures actually like contribute to this, feeling of burnout?
Oh, I think a ton, because we don't talk enough about those societal expectations and judgments that really get heaped onto parents. And I'm going to be honest, especially moms.
Especially moms.
Yes, it's like this unspoken rule that you should just be able to effortlessly juggle everything, work, Kids, household, all the emotional labor.
And not just juggle, like expertly juggle, like, and never drop a ball.
Never drop anything, make it look easy.
Make it look easy, and God forbid you ask for help.
Right. And if you do,
Gasp.
yeah. Right. It's like you get this label like, oh, she's not coping well, or even worse, she's selfish. The S word.
Yes. Just because she needs a break, like, needs to take care of herself. Like, what?
It's not right.
It's so unfair.
It is. And you know what?
Not
It's also not realistic.
It's not. We've said it before. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, can't.
Like, we need to be filled up in order to give her.
So true. So, like, how do we navigate that then? Because the article didn't really offer solutions for that, Like,
Boy.
what about, like, the judgment that you get from maybe your partner, your family, or just,
Society at large.
society, yes.
The peanut gallery
The peanut gallery of, like,
of parenting critics.
parenting critics, yes.
I mean, that's a whole other deep dive waiting to happen, honestly.
Part 4 and 5 of this.
Exactly right. But it's definitely something to think about. Like, how do we advocate for our own well-being while also, like, managing those expectations from others?
It's tough.
It's really tough. And it's a balance, right?
It is.
But ultimately,
Yeah.
combating burnout isn't just about that individual self-care.
Right.
It's about creating a culture that supports and values
Yes.
the well-being of parents.
Oh my gosh, yes, 1,000%. Like, how do we make that happen?
Right.
Because I'm here for it.
I think it starts with normalizing the conversation.
Yes.
Like, we need to talk about this more openly.
Yes.
Because the more we talk about it, the more we realize it's not a personal failing. It's a systemic issue.
It's not you.
It's not you. It's the system.
And it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be okay all the time.
You're allowed to have those moments.
You're allowed, and it's okay to ask for help.
Yes.
It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to prioritize your own needs.
It's essential.
It's essential because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Taking care of yourself, that's not selfish. That's like the most selfless thing
Yeah.
you can do as a parent
It's the best thing you can do for those kids.
because, again, you can't pour from an empty cup.
You can.
When you prioritize your own well-being, everyone benefits. Your kids, your partner, and most importantly, you.
So to all of you out there listening
Yes.
who are feeling the weight of this right now, of
Yes.
parenting burnout,
We see you.
we see you, we hear you,
We hear you.
and you're not alone.
You are not alone.
We're in this together.
We are in the trenches together.
Okay, now I kind of want a bathroom retreat.
Go for it.
I think I might.
Go for it.
Until next time, everyone.